Greetings and welcome to the Vortex. I'm your host, Daniel Allen Jones, and I'm glad to be joined here by Craig Woolheater. Craig.
Howdy, Daniel.
Howdy, Craig. It's an honor to be here with you always.
Out in the woods, out in the woods.
Real woods.
The real woods, yes.
The real forest. So we're here at the Southeast Texas Bigfoot Conference, and we're talking about the study of Bigfoot and these strange encounters that people have all over the world. We generally call this field Cryptozoology. Now, tell us, Craig, why is it important that we study cryptozoology?
Well, you know, we humans are fairly arrogant, and, you know, science in general thinks that they've found everything. But, you know, they're finding new animals, new discoveries every day. And, you know, one of the things is that I like to explain, you know, the interest in this is to look at it through the eyes of a child without preconceived notions about what is out there, what isn't out there, and just look at it, you know, through the eyes of a child with wonder and appreciate the outdoors and nature. And, you know, I don't tell people to go out looking for Bigfoot. I mean, you know, just go out and have a good time in the woods, you know, go camping, hiking, and, you know, maybe something will happen. I mean, the majority of reported sightings are not from people that are out looking for Bigfoot. They're out people that are, you know, recreating the outdoors, you know, hunters, you know, fishermen, you know, campers, hikers. You know, those are the people that are really reporting having encounters and sightings, not people that are actually out there looking. You know, it generally happens to just everyday people from any range of, you know, beliefs and religion and occupation, whatever. You know, just people doing normal stuff.
Yeah. So, like you said, you know, people are just out in nature and they're doing whatever they're doing. They may not particularly be looking to find Bigfoot. Some are out there, they're looking, of course, and that's a big deal for a lot of people. But it seems like you said, a lot of times it's happenstance. People are just out there, they're not looking for anything, but they have an encounter. And it may not always be Bigfoot. It could be another type of strange creature, which we call cryptids.
Sure.
And like you said, we're making new discoveries every day. And so while a lot of people, they want it to be something fantastic like a Bigfoot or Sasquatch, but it might just be like a new species of an already known animal. Correct. And so, I mean, we have all these different types of discoveries, but people kind of have different points of view when it comes to things like Bigfoot and these other strange creatures. While a lot of times it seems like people like the idea that they're sort of mystical, they have these mystical qualities, but some like to think, well, they're just flesh and blood creatures yet to be identified. What is your take on the different points of view when it comes to what we're dealing with out there with these strange creatures?
Well, I think as far as Bigfoot goes, that it's, you know, that it is an actual flesh and blood creature, you know, that's, you know, technically undiscovered, uncatalogued by science. You know, if you go, you know, outside of North America, you know, to any of these other continents and countries, there's lots of things that are known to the locals, which is considered ethno-known. The local villagers or whoever may know about these creatures, but, you know, it's not cataloged by science. There's also, it seems like almost every week in the news there's a story about a creature that was thought previously extinct that, you know, they may have not been seen for 80 or 100 years, and now, you know, here's one that shows up, and we got it on camera, and, you know, we thought they've been extinct for 100 years. So, I mean, you know, there's plenty of things that are out there that we don't know about. Every inch of, you know, even North America is not, you know, stepped on by man. I mean, in the Pacific Northwest alone, there's the last count I heard was like 72 aircraft that have crashed into the Pacific Northwest, the forests up there, and they aren't even found. And that's, you know, a large metallic object that's sitting in one place that can't be found. So when you've got, you know, a Bigfoot or more than one that are out, you know, roaming around through the forest, you know, that I say it's not like even looking for a needle in a haystack. It's like looking for a moving needle in a whole field of hay.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, these things aren't stationary. They're moving all over the place. You know, they probably have a pretty good, you know, territory that they roam. And, people are like, well, why aren't we getting pictures of them? Well, some of them, or why doesn't anybody see them? Well, people do see them and report it. And, probably less than 10% of the sightings are reported.
That's a big deal. It seems like, there could be any number of encounters out there, but how many people are actually reporting it? I think that's something to look into. And you received quite a few reports because of your organization, Cryptomundo. So what has that been like, receiving this?
Well, over the years, I've been, actively doing this stuff for 20 years now, and over that number of years, I've talked to hundreds and hundreds of people who said they've seen something that they can't explain. I had my own sighting of something that I can't explain. I can't explain away as anything other than a Bigfoot. I mean, it was 7 foot tall, covered with hair, moving on 2 legs. It wasn't a stationary object. It wasn't a burnout log. It wasn't a bear on 2 feet. It wasn't a guy in a ghillie suit or a Bigfoot costume out in the middle of nowhere on the side of a highway in very rural Louisiana. So, I mean, when somebody says that they've seen one of these things or some other undiscovered creature, there's only a couple of possibilities. They could be actually lying to you and making it up. They could have been hoaxed by somebody else unbeknownst to them. They, could be under the influence of, narcotics or alcohol or something and be delusional. They could be, delusional in general. They could be mistaking known wildlife for a human. Or the last possibility to me is, they saw what they say they saw. And if even one of those people out there is telling the truth about it, there's something out there to look into. And even if I discount all the hundreds of stories of people I've talked to, I've got my own experience that I can't explain away as anything else than one of these creatures, that was walking parallel to the highway, a 2-lane highway out in the middle of nowhere, Louisiana, and, at 11:30 at night, and caught it in my headlights and saw it for 7 or 8 seconds until we passed it up.
Wow. So some of these could be, like you said, cases of misidentification of known species, which might have a slight alteration, whether it's genetics or just a disease or something. Do you think that plays a big part in how we kind of try to figure out and factor in or factor out different possibilities when we have these sightings? Is it something that, let's say, we can say, okay, well, like you said, with your case, it's not this, it's not that. Is that something that you can try to use whenever you're looking at these different cases?
Oh, well, sure, yeah. When we investigate, a reported encounter, we try to not only talk to the witness, but, talk to the witness at the location where it happened. So you can see, if it's recent, you can look for evidence, or even if it was in the past, just get a general look at the location to see if it's viable. I mean, just like any species of animal, you need 3 things. You need cover, you need water, and you need food source. So, I mean, if those are all available and abundant, it's a possibility. You can't just discount it because, it's in a place that, maybe more populated than you would think, in the middle of the forest in the Pacific Northwest. I mean, these things are seen on the outskirts of civilization. And, I've talked to people that, a Boy Scout troop or a school group out on a field trip, camping out, and had, one of these things come into the middle of their camp in the middle of the night. I think that most sightings are accidents on the part of the Sasquatch or Bigfoot's part. They seem to be curious about humans, but they also seem to be wary. So, I mean, it's kind of like a catch-22 that, they might be seen, in a rural house out there, like, peering through a window or something, or, the highest number of encounters, that we investigated and talked to people were just happenstance, a road crossing or somebody driving at night and seeing something crossing in the road, in front of them or behind them, or, walking along the side of the road, as well as hunters. Hunters have a very high percentage of the sighting reports as well.
That's pretty incredible. So in all of this, we have a lot of people who still think that Bigfoot and these types of strange creatures or encounters that are imaginative or hoaxes, or the whole thing is nonsense. what would you say to people kind of with that mindset?
Well, the thing of it is, to me, is if you think or believe, or your opinion is that every reported sighting is a hoax of some kind, every footprint that's found has been hoaxed. I found tracks. I found a trackway of 3 tracks, 3 miles off the road in a grassy meadow when it was 40 degrees and raining. We were hiking along a creek and found these. And hoaxers want the payoff. There's no payoff to plant tracks out in the middle of a field. Who knows if anybody's going to walk by?
Sure.
If they're on the edge of a road or something like that, a hoaxer wants somebody to see them. So they're not going to go out, like I said, hike 3 miles and lay some tracks down in a grassy meadow and hope that somebody's going to hike by and see them.
Yeah.
There's no payoff for them, in that case. So to me, it's far harder to accept that every sighting report, every track that's found, all of that is hoaxed or misidentification than it is to accept that there's evidence that the creature is out there, to me.
Yeah. Well, that's really interesting. It's important that we keep an open mind, and I like to think that we won't know if we don't go. Like you said, it's important to go out there, do field research, investigate what's possible, what's tangible, speak to witnesses, and just try to pull together something that helps to kind of give some perspective on what's going on. Now, you have a lot going on. You've been involved with a ton of different things over the years, namely the Texas Bigfoot Conference. So for those that are interested, tell us how we can find out more about your work and your involvement in this area.
Well, you can look up the Texas Bigfoot Research Center on Facebook. We've got a Facebook page there. There's also a page for our 2019 Texas Bigfoot Conference that's coming up in Jefferson, Texas, which just last year was proclaimed by the mayor of Jefferson as the Bigfoot capital of Texas. But we host the annual conference there. This year we got Cliff and Bobo of Finding Bigfoot that are coming in, as well as some of the speakers that are around here. That's coming up October 18th and 19th. And they're in Jefferson, which is right on Cattle Lake. It's a long history of sightings in the area, and it's a pretty cool place.
Well, Craig, I've always enjoyed the Texas Bigfoot Conference. It's a wonderful event for those who are looking to find out more about this incredible phenomenon, whether you're just an enthusiast, a serious researcher, or you've had an encounter yourself. It takes a lot of courage to come forward, and that's how we find out about these cases.
Oh, it does take, I've talked to people on the phone that have reported a sighting, and, I've had grown men, that broke down crying on the phone telling their story because it was such a traumatic experience to them, and the fact that, they didn't feel like they could tell anybody, or if they tried to tell somebody, they were ridiculed or said they were drunk or crazy or whatever. And, it's a very cathartic experience to be able to tell somebody who accepts the fact that there is evidence that these creatures are out there. And like I said, with my own experience, I can't discount that. So to listen with an open mind and an open ear without a preconceived notion to them tell their story and get it off their chest, after, 10, 15, 20 years and having to keep it inside.
Yeah, it's something that I think you're doing a very commendable work to be able to offer this platform for people to come forward and share their experience, because that's how we find out about these encounters and what's going on out there in the world. So, Craig, I want to thank you for your time today. It's been a great pleasure to be able to have you come and share with us about the importance of cryptozoology, your own experiences, and how people can get involved with this subject in a fun and interesting and informative way. So, appreciate your time.
Thank you.